or if you're a CEO or owner, business fails, that means you sucked, right?
Yeah.
And that you suck at business, and that's like a huge identity crisis, right?
Yeah.
And it took me a lot of like therapy to get through this idea of like my value is not wrapped up in the value of my company.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm in it every day, right? Looking
Right.
at these things. Same with you, and the temptation is to be everything for everybody.
Right.
But you have to remember, when we're marketing, we're not trying to be everything for everybody yet. We're trying to get a hook that allows us to then be everything for everybody. But you have to find the hook that is going to get somebody to go, oh yes, I do need the drippy faucet fixed, the flickering light fixed. And then now we have the opportunity, we've earned their trust, now we can be everything for everybody. It's like with me, just with Chirp, I can't go on and be like, I can do everything for you with automation, right? I have to come in and go, hey, are you not contacting your leads fast enough? Or estimates falling through the cracks? Or, want blue messages versus green messages, right? These little hooks.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, cool, okay, I got you. Now let me show you all the other things I can do. But if I overwhelm them with, we can do everything,
Right.
then we end up doing nothing.
So one of the things that really intrigued me about utilizing systems like Chirp has been the customer fulfillment process. What does that journey look like so they can really understand who we are and why it matters? Why do I need to do business with you? What's your unique selling proposition? And one of those was things like the owner's handshake, getting to know the heart of your organization. Without vision, people perish, right? What is that vision? What is that purpose? And that, the owner's handshake gives me that opportunity to feel like I'm still in the trenches with my guys, and they get to see that heart and that passion translated right when they book the call. So, what is something when it comes to me as the business owner trying to deliver that into reality? Whatever I think is cool, at the end of the day, doesn't matter, right? What does my customer want to see in something like an owner's handshake?
So the owner handshake campaign, that's one that's very near and dear to my heart. It's part of why I developed Chirp. I love the idea of it. I want to see more people implement it. Some people they're just not catching on the vision of it. The idea behind owner handshake is that we scale authenticity, right? We've got, as we grow our businesses, the hardest thing to do is maintain relationships with our individual customers. You remember when you were like really small, you were the one going out to the houses. You were the one saying, hey, I'm going to take care of you, shaking their hand, right? And providing that feeling of, oh, I know this guy, I like this guy, I trust this guy, right?
Yeah.
As you scale, it's a challenge to do that. You can't go to everybody's houses and also be a big company.
Yeah.
It's a conundrum, right? So the owner handshake with technology, we're able to blend your authenticity with automation, and now we can send out videos to the customers of you, and now let's say you do a video one time, you can send that to thousands of people, so your time just maximized, right? You just maximized 2 minutes spent on the phone. Now it's being maximized across hundreds and hundreds of customers.
Yeah.
It's all about timing, right? Because the whole purpose of owner handshake is feelings. We're trying to strike feelings, right? And we're trying to help the customer feel good about choosing electrocode, right?
Yeah.
And so we think of timing. We want to make sure that when they book, think of from a customer's perspective, the anxiety that comes with choosing somebody. They book, there's an immediate, and even if they haven't bought yet, even at scheduled job, there's a buyer's remorse, right? There's this feeling of like, did I do the right thing? And if we can catch it at the right time and reassure them that they did the right thing when they're feeling that drop in, the immediate like feel good of, okay, cool, I'm taking care of a problem, to shoot, did I make the right decision? If we can, once we've seen that drop, we can hit them with a text message with a video from you saying, hey, my name is Harrison. I wanted to thank you for booking with Electrocode. This is my business that I built from scratch. This is my wife, my kids. And I love this business. I love my customers. I'm super grateful for the opportunity I have to work with you. I'm fully expecting that my technician is going to give you 5-star service. If for any reason he doesn't, I want to know about it. And that way, now they're going immediately. It's like you just shook their hand. Like, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do business. So we want to do that right when they schedule the job, right? And then if in a lot of cases people are scheduling out far, and so we may want to, in some cases, send one out a day before as well. So we can say, let's do one immediately. And then if it's like a day before, you can send out another one that's just like, hey, we're coming out tomorrow. Harrison again here. Thank you so much. Coming out tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you again. 5-star service. Reiterate this. We're doing two things here, right? We're making them feel good, but we're also saying, I want a 5-star review at the end of this, right? We're seeding that in their head. Because if we ask for the 5-star review at the end, now we're expecting them to shift into that mindset. When we've already done it at the beginning.
Right.
Does that make sense? And so it's about timing right away so that we're catching them at their emotion drop, right? And then the day before, little reminder, oh yeah, that is tomorrow. Cool. I do like this guy. Cool. I feel good, right? And it's all about managing human emotion. When it's starting to drop off, let's bring it back up. If it's dropping off, let's make sure we're keeping it up.
Right.
That's the purpose of the handshake. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. For me, coming off of that, what really sometimes hinders me as a business owner in utilizing these awesome tools that promise these outcomes, right? Like I want that outcome.
Right.
What business owner is not going to be like, I don't want my customer to feel that way, Ryan. Like what does it matter to me, right? I really want that outcome for my customer. I don't want them thinking, did I make the right choice? Did I not?
Right.
How can Chirp help us make sure that we are running these automations properly, timed right, saying the right messages, and like getting those videos in there? Like that seems really impactful.
So one of the things I've learned after having done automation for 15 years, it took me 15 years to learn this. I'm a slow learner, I guess. But what's in my head has been the hard part to get out to, my customers, right? Because I think, well, yeah, here, of course, you're going to think the same way I do. Like, that's like, I'm expecting that, and it's wrong of me to do that because I have the tools. It's kind of like if, you handed me, I don't know, what's an uncommon electrician's tool that I wouldn't know anything about? Can you think of one off the top of your head?
Yeah, probably a rotozip.
A rotozip. I have no idea what a rotozip is, right? If you handed that to me and said, Ryan, this is a great tool, good luck, right? And I go, crap, like, what am I going to do with this tool, right? I've found that I'm doing that, and I have done that with my customers, and we're attempting to solve for this in 2026 as a big initiative of ours. We find that, obviously if I sell you a rotozip, there's got to be somebody that trains me and teaches me how to do this and gets what's in my head out and into your head so that you can make these things happen. And so we're shifting our whole model from software as a service to automation as a partnership, right? Where we're coming in and saying, hey, we want to succeed together with you. We're going to assign you a coach that is trained in all things Chirp. His incentive is to make sure that you are successful with Chirp. You're going to have a great relationship with this guy. It's almost like, a fractional employee that's coming into your business to say, hey, I want you to be successful with this. And, it's been a failure on our part that we're solving for in that, we're selling a tool that's very complex, does a lot of really cool things. But it's not just, super easy to just go click, it's done, right? And so our big initiative right now is to plug in this whole strategy where we're partnering with you. You're going to be spending more time with us. We're going to have an outcome-driven goal that says, hey, let's work together so that we can get to these milestones and chip away at it. It's very overwhelming to look at automation and go, okay, here's 1,000 things you can do. And you go, I want to do them all, but freak, dude, I don't have all the time. And so we're going to look at it and go, what's one we can do this month? Yeah. What's one we can do this month that's going to move the needle, right? So that's our initiative there.
Awesome.
What do you think about that, Harrison?
I love it. So what's popping into my mind with that partnership, because I'm huge on relationships, and a lot of people might think AI is removing those relationships, where it sounds like working with us and together as a home service expert trying to utilize technology, we are actually coming closer in relationship. Before it was just, here's the product,
right?
Learn to use it. How is that really going to improve like the usage of the tools? Like I have all these automations that I've been using. Are you guys going to come in and clean that up, improve it, show best practices? How is that really going to flesh out over time?
So it comes down to, just like any other business, putting the right incentives in the right places, right? Where, if you have the incentive with your guy that you're sending out to the house, that if he does certain things, you're going to pay him certain things and he's going to make more money. Those are the incentives that he has, right? We're placing, with our coaching program, we're placing incentives with our coaches that says, if your people are successful, you'll be rewarded for that success. And we want it to be a symbiotic relationship between the coach and the owner that says, hey, if I'm successful, I'm happy because I made a ton more money. You're happy because you got paid more. You reached your goals, and now we're aligned, right? Software traditionally has just been, hey, you pay us the monthly fee, use our tool, do whatever you want with it, whatever, we're cool. There's nobody incentivized to help you progress through. And you end up kind of becoming disorganized because you think, okay, let's try this. When we actually have strategy in place, and you come to me and say, Ryan, I want to do this. We go, let's stay focused. Let's do this. This will come. Let's do this first. And we actually do a strategy rather than just shooting from the hip.
I am still naturally a technician at heart at times. I grew up in the trades from when I got out of high school. And when I start hearing about a new tool, I want to get it, right? Give me that new tool. Maybe it was a Milwaukee or a drill at one point. Now it's the softwares, it's the components, the CRMs, things like that. And immediately I'm like, well, what campaigns matter? Give me the 2 or 3 rules of thumb, right? What are the perfect strategies that I could just plug in, bolt on, and it's done? And I start making more money, right?
Yeah.
How do we get there?
Yeah. So I want to start to shift your mind away from campaigns to strategies. Okay. So think in terms of strategies. You have like the playbook, then you have individual strategies, and then within those strategies, you have tactics, and we'll call those like campaigns, right? And if what you're doing is going straight to here, you kind of get a jumbled mess of campaigns that aren't cohesive. While we're trying to create a customer journey that is duplicatable and is measurable and it's something we can improve. And if we're always changing different things along the way, it kind of gives us it's hard to create data from that, right? Because it's like when you change too many things in your business and your business breaks, you don't know which thing caused the break, right? It's like, so you have to do them methodically. And so we're switching from here's all your campaigns to here are the strategies, the high level. We have 3 strategies. And here are the things that we're going to chip away at before we move to the next one. So we start at the beginning of the customer journey with lead conversion. This is where we talk about speed to lead, making sure that all of our lead sources are connected to some sort of automation that makes sure we're contacting our leads very, very quickly. That's like step 1, right? That's the beginning. If this is the customer journey, that's that first 30 seconds, right? And we say, okay, cool, we nailed that. We feel comfortable there. Now, what about our follow-up on those leads that don't convert? Okay, certain number of leads aren't converting, so let's make sure we're following up consistently. Inbound phone calls, missed calls, after hours overflow, weekends, that kind of thing. Angie leads, Thumbtack, Facebook lead forms, LSA, all these different places where leads can be coming in. We make sure we have the right strategy or the right tactic lined up for that. Move on to let's now focus on the next part of the customer journey, the follow-up. Make sure we're converting them at the highest level, okay? And then we move into the booked job owner handshake part of the campaign in the lead conversion sphere, right? And then we move into, estimate rehash. We've made it through here. We've maximized what we can do here. Now we're sending out estimates. Are we converting at 100%? No. So how do we continue to inch our way towards 100%? There's always, if you're not at 100%, there's always room for improvement. People go, I have an 80% close rate. Say, no, you have a 20% non-close rate, and you have opportunity in that 20% to get better. I'm not saying 100% is ever going to happen. I'm saying strive for it so that you're always incrementally improving. So in estimate rehash, we focus. Okay, what estimates are converting at high level? Cool. What can we do to improve? What are at low level? What are we doing wrong? Let's figure out. And we work through those, right? And then we get to the end of that and we say, okay, now what about customer loyalty? We've created a full customer cycle, right, where we get the deal, right? Now we go, okay, how do we make sure that customer stays with us and will buy from us in the future and gives us a 5-star review and sends us referrals? And what are we doing to make sure that they know that we exist still? Are we sending out, stuff throughout the year just to give little reminders here and there? all the little things that will create customer loyalty. And then also the ability to reach out to those when things are a little slow, right? Where you go, people go, things are slow, crap, let's bump the marketing budget. You go, don't you have 50,000 people in your database already? Why don't we start reaching out to those guys and see if we can drum up some business without spending money on marketing and use lists to develop business that way and create that repeat, buying from you over and over and over again. And that's the game you have to start playing, because as the private equity companies come in, they're willing to lose money all the way through this part, right? And then they hope they make the money here. And so you have to be willing to play that game to say, hey, margins are getting slimmer. We've got to figure out how to maximize our database and get the most out of it. So that strategy is the shift from campaigns to let's get organized. It's like, I don't know, I'm not a sports guy, but like if I go out and play football and just like open the book and go, let's do this play. It's like, okay, well, it's 4th down and yard 1, you want to do whatever, some like long passes, it's like there wasn't a strategy behind it. You just picked a tactic, right? It's like, we've got to have the playbook. We've got to know to go through it and implement the right plays at the right times. So
Right.
there's other places where you can apply tags too, to get, so like you could also apply that tag at the integration level, right? Because you have the option to choose campaign and tag, right?
Yeah.
But I like to do it within the campaign because it's kind of foolproof. It's like if they've been in the campaign, I know they've been in that campaign. And then in the future, that allows you too to pull that up in context. So then I can just pull up that tag too and see who's been and make decisions based off of that.
Right.
Or if I want to do a broadcast to somebody and I want to make sure it's not somebody that's been in a campaign recently or something, I can exclude that tag in the search.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it just gives me a little more control. You can't over tag, but I like to err on the side of over tagging than under tagging, because it gives me more control within the system, more ability to pull different things up. Like especially if you're in a lead conversion type situation or a lead capture situation. So anytime a lead is coming in from somewhere, like for sure here I would want to have just a tag that says Angie lead. So then I can differentiate, right? Pull up that data, right? So tagging, I would definitely recommend starting to adopt tagging as part of what you're doing here.
Okay.
Pipelines, some people use them for just visualizing where people are at in the journey. So you can build a pipeline that's like new lead, estimate sent, and you can have them move through the pipeline automatically based on the campaign they're in. So for example, like let's say you have an Angie, you want to look at your Angie lead progress, right? You could have an Angie lead pipeline that says new Angie lead, and then followed up with booked, closed, and it could move through that as as they're moving through the customer journey. And then you can look at that and go, oh, they're getting blocked up here. What's going on? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the strategy behind pipelines, is to be able to visualize where as they're moving through the customer journey, what's happening.
Yeah.
And so you can say, oh, I had 100 Angie leads, but only 2 made it to booked appointment. Like, what's going on? Like, what do we need to fix, right?
Is that automated?
Yes, it's both.
Okay.
You can do one or the other, because within campaigns, so like let's say you have Angie lead, right? We can apply an action that says add to a stage, okay?
Oh.
So that puts them in that stage. Now, if you have Angie lead scheduled appointment, and in there it says move to scheduled job, once they schedule that appointment, it would move them from this column over to the next one automatically when they schedule the job. So they're moving, automatically through the journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, if somebody on the phone, something happens manually, you could just go into pipelines and just drag them over there. And what can happen is a pipeline can trigger a campaign. So like, let's say your guys are in here, maybe you have like 30 Angie leads sitting here, and they go, I'm gonna call through these Angie leads, right? And then they have a column that says called but didn't schedule or something. They could just call through it, and if they don't answer, they can just drag it into that column, and that column can trigger a campaign to start.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now you could go, they could be sitting here and go, okay, I've got 50 leads right here. I'm gonna call them real quick. I'm gonna call through all 50, and then I'm gonna drag it over into this pipeline, and then that pipeline will start a follow-up campaign with that. And you can have multiple columns that do different things, and then that way they're starting different things based on those drops.
Man, that is a huge eye opener right there.
Do you do a lot of Angie leads?
We have been because I actually have spoken to so many contractors, and when I bring up Angie's, they usually roll their eyes.
Right.
Right? They're like, oh, "I've tried that; it doesn't work." Right?
Right.
I fell in that category for a while, but I went ahead and said, "Well, I have Service Titan and I have Chirp. I'm going to create a speed to lead, and I'm going to train my team on to outbound them, obviously as fast as possible. But we have this fail-safe with
Right.
Chirp, sending them a message. The last 90 days, it's number 3 in highest revenue for us.
Did you hear that? So Angie lead normally sucks, and then because you have automation, it's your highest thing.
Yep.
All right. I'll take that.